This is gonna be a country. So today I'm going to show you guys how to port your internal wastegate on your turbo. The reason I'm doing this is because my car's over boosting right now pretty bad. Basically goes straight up to like 15 psi and then just continues to creep all the way to redline. So it started doing this when I got a 3-inch exhaust, and I've had it ported twice already. Once I sent it back to the manufacturer, they ported it, didn't do anything. They just added this groove right here, and it basically did nothing. And then I ported it a little bit, but it didn't do very much. So basically, if you look at the top side, it was like that all the way around. So I ground out the bottom with the Dremel a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, this is a wastegate hole here. I'm gonna open that up as much as I can, basically just leaving like a couple millimeters on the outside so that the flap will still seal. And I probably won't take very much off the top, because if you take too much, then it can catch when it comes down like this, and then it'll just be stuck open and you won't build boost. And then I'll probably also enlarge this groove a little bit more so it'll flow better. So I'm pretty annoyed. I just bought this Dremel like a couple months ago and it broke. It just completely stopped working, and I went and returned it, or exchanged it, and it's supposed to come with 40 accessories, all these bits, and it came with nothing. So don't buy Dremel, they suck. I have a few old bits here, so hopefully I can still do it, but they're not really what I want. What you want is a carbide cutting bit. This looks kind of similar to it. Hopefully it'll work. But yeah, I might just have to grind with the sanding ones, which might take forever. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this, and then I'm gonna put the turbo back on the car, take it for a drive, and see how well it did. See if we got rid of the overboost. So first things first is take off the exhaust housing, which is just a couple 13 mil bolts. Pull these C-clips out, and then it'll pop off. Alright, we got the exhaust housing off. Definitely want to do that so you don't get a bunch of metal in your turbo. And what I'm going to do is, I have a paint marker here. I'm just going to take paint and put it all on here, close it so that I can see where the flap sits. Okay, well that didn't work so well. Alright, so I just drew around it with Sharpie. That worked a lot better. So I can't really take much off the bottom, but if you haven't ported it at all, that's where you're going to want to take most of it off the bottom. But I'm going to open up the side, well the whole thing, and just leave like a little bit for it to sit on. Alright, so I'm pretty much done. It's not really that hard, it just takes some time. I actually found this grinding bit worked better than this bit. I'm not sure if this is a carbide bit, but basically it just looks like it has a whole bunch of little teeth on it. That one didn't work so well. So I probably spent half an hour, got it ground out pretty good. You can see I left just a little bit around there for the flap to sit on so it seals. And I actually got quite a bit off the top. I just kept slowly going and being careful not to go too far. So got quite a bit out up there. And then it's kind of hard to see on the GoPro, but I did a lot of grinding at an angle at the top. So instead of just going straight in and keeping it flat, I'd go like this so that when the exhaust is coming, it'll flow out. So then at the top here, I opened that up a lot, made that groove a lot bigger, so you can see it used to just basically go straight past the hole, and now a lot of it will actually go down and just hit the hole and want to go out. So I think this is gonna work pretty well. I'm gonna put it on the car and then we'll go for a drive and see how it does. I don't know why my headlight comes on once, sometimes it just stays on. So I just leave them on. So for those of you guys who watch my channel, I spoke with Martin at Enthalpy, asking him why it was making no power and just asked him a couple questions. And basically he said that the timing was way off, or there was a code on the ECU. And I checked the ECU, there's no codes on it. So he said that the timing is just way off. And I told him we set it with a timing light to 20 degrees, but he said that he could tell it's way off. Super retarded, he said. I sent him a picture of the distributor, and he said, just by looking at it, that that's retarded. See how it's turned quite a bit counterclockwise? He said it should be the other way, clockwise, somewhere around there. That's where they usually end up. So he said the foolproof way to do it on the dyno is to just slowly advance the timing until the line smooths out like super good and you stop boost creeping and a couple other things. So honestly, I wish I knew this when I was on there, because then I could probably be on the road right now. But I did buy in this tune. I'll show you guys here. I just bought this off a local guy. This tune it's already installed, soldered in there professionally by Post Haste Performance, which is the shop I'm going to be bringing it to on July 10th. So that's my next dyno date, is July 10th at Post Haste Performance. That's the earliest date I could get in at pretty much any dyno. So kind of sucks I have to wait another month now, but it is what it is. So like I said, you guys, before I was going basically straight up to like 16 PSI. I have the wastegate arm, just like barely any tension on it. So we're gonna go for a drive and see how much it's making now. Hopefully it'll be down at like 14, 13, because then I can just put some more tension on the spring, get it up to where I want it. Probably around 16 is where I'm gonna be aiming for. But yeah, I wanna be like somewhere in the middle so that it'll regulate properly, not like just wide open all the time. So technically I could just advance the timing on the distributor and I could be fine, but I just want to get it on the dyno, do it properly, so I'm just going to leave it and I'm going to get them to double check and see if it's really at 20 degrees or if the guy didn't do it properly. I mean, I don't think it's very hard, so it's probably pretty close, but I'm just going to leave it. So it worked out very well. I'm holding at like 5-6 PSI all the way through to red line, and before I was at like 16 PSI, so it's perfect. Now I can tighten down the wastegate spring and turn up the boost and actually have some regulation in there instead of it just being maxed out all the time or wide open. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out, and I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be dyno day number 2 on July 10th, so it's gonna be a bit.